made for this. I was made for this.
Hi, I'm Heidi.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Okay.
I'm Trisha.
This is Flat Trisha. And together we are
Unfiltered.
And again, super professional. So,
Yes.
But yeah, I'm excited. Today we are going to talk about building women up,
Yes.
not tearing them down.
Yes.
Getting rid of all the jealousy, getting rid of all of the comparison game, and remembering that when one woman wins, we all win.
You're
in
going
a
to
tribe,
hit me
in a
where
community.
it hurts today.
Oh, this may or may not be very, very personal for myself as well. So
I'll be
yeah.
very honest in this one because when you
Well, that's good.
introduce
Does that mean you're lying in the rest of them?
No, I'm just kidding. No. Are we going to explain our guest or just?
Oh, I guess we should explain. This is Flat Trisha. Trisha is currently on an airplane headed to a better place.
No, she's coming back. So she will be coming back. So not that
She's heading
place.
out on vacation to California. And speaking of jealousy, I am, and I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to own it.
I know.
would love to be on
Is
a plane.
this
going
building
to
her up?
California.
Like, I'm excited she's going, but man, that's just not fair.
Yeah.
You didn't invite us, Trisha.
Right. Next time we're going to go in her luggage. But anyways, Flat Trisha will be here with us this week and next week. So yes.
Good topic, though.
It is a good topic.
I'm excited about this one, and I'm going to tell you why. I was
Please.
excited. I've been online and was reading it was just this article that seemed interesting to me. It was about a woman's issue, and this particular woman, she, wrote it very personally, and I was again shocked at some of the cruelty in comments. And it was such a remarkable story that she was sharing just in her own personal life and coming to terms and acceptance with this new body that she has, like post kids, and accepting that part of you, that next
Right.
phase of life, and it looks different, it feels different, and all of that, and just her journey to embracing that, and just how quickly people jumped out. Well, maybe if you dress like this, you'd look slimmer. Maybe if you'd like contour like this, your face wouldn't look
And
so
this is
fat.
in the comments?
And this is the comments. They don't even know her. But that's not an atypical thing I'm finding. I
Right.
think society has become very comfortable, and I think women are especially guilty of this, of just really being pretty vicious. And I wonder if it's done intentionally or if it's literally just easy to do because it's not even thought of anymore. I don't know.
I wonder if it comes from a place of insecurity, though. And
I think
I
so.
think a lot of that is what it is,
Yes.
really. I mean, we deal with so much insecurity as women, and it
I don't
makes
have
us
any.
feel better.
Yes.
Feel better for the moment, right? To point out somebody else's flaws.
Yes.
So that nobody's looking at us.
Right.
We take
Right.
that focus and we
'Cause
shift it
I look
away
a little
from
better
us.
then. I won't
Exactly.
look quite so bad.
And I think,
you're
even
right.
like our last episode, we talked about bullying and that, coming
Yes.
from like a middle school perspective, I think a lot of that stays with us. You know what
for
I mean?
sure.
That whole concept of
For sure.
don't look at me, don't focus on me. So I'm gonna tear this person down,
Yes.
And then also that place of jealousy. Why does she have that and I don't? Why is her business successful? Why is, her show
Right.
successful and mine's not, in my opinion? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
But I really, at least for me, that's how I felt when I first jumped into the world of professional photography.
I was shocked when you said that.
Yeah, I mean, because we touched on that before, but I was so insecure in my own skills that I was like, ugh, I don't want to look at anybody else's
Comparison.
stuff. And because it would just make me feel awful because I didn't believe in myself enough. Like my self-esteem
Right.
was so low at that point, and I felt so bad about myself, even though I was like relatively new in it. I
Yes.
can't be as good as other people because I hadn't had the experience,
Right.
But instead of learning from or aspiring to
Yes.
be like, or
Instead
you
of
know,
being inspired.
and that's it. I was jealous and angry and like, oh, well, that's great for them. And, oh, I'm so glad that they're doing really, really
But
well.
with that little side of snark.
Yes. Yes.
I get that.
Yeah.
I am so guilty of doing that. But I'm going to tell you, I can guarantee you there are photographers trying to figure out how you capture what you capture because there's something special.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Well, I love you. But
I think
it's
it's
true, though.
discovering your own everything, right?
Yes.
So I have a specific, wow. Ooh,
That's a
words
big
are
word.
amazing. I'm so good at words. But I have a specific way that I do photography.
Yes.
I don't pay attention to all the technical stuff and all of that because I just want to capture the person. I want to see the person.
Mm-hmm.
If I get caught up in all the rest of that, it takes away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, it does.
And so I do, but now because I've learned to love myself, to learn to build up my own self-esteem and say,
Yes.
this is my style of doing things. This is how I do it.
right.
That was when I all of a sudden like flourished in everything I'm doing, when I owned my own thing. When I said, this is how
Right.
I do it. I'm not going to
Right.
try to do it like X, Y, and Z person.
Right.
And I think if more people could realize, just find what makes you and your skill or your business or your whatever it is that you bring to the world, bring yourself,
Right.
and then you will be successful.
I really hope to see that happen because I feel like it becomes a cookie cutter world. Everything looks the same. I was scrolling through Pinterest the other day and I used to love Pinterest and I don't nearly as much anymore. It's a whole lot of trying to imitate. It's all the same. And I'm like, where's the individuality?
Right.
What stands out as being different? Nothing stood out to me. I was looking for that something different.
Right.
The only thing that did as I went, there was a woman that just sat there and it was just shot in black and white. No makeup, as minimal as can be, and it was the most beautiful thing I had seen. I saw every makeup technique, every latest hairstyle, the butterfly cut, whatever that is. I don't have hair to do that anyways, but I'm seeing all of that and they all look the same. I don't know what they look like without it.
Right.
And then I saw this stunningly beautiful, raw photo, and I was like, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Right. Yeah.
I want more of that, just more. I want women to find their passion and jump into it.
Yes.
Whatever that looks like, your brand. Yeah, I'm very guilty of being very judgmental of certain women, and it's always a specific one, and I'm not free of it yet. Beautiful women intimidate me like you wouldn't believe and immediately make me feel so less than. What makes me me makes me very much stand out in a typical crowd of women. I will always wear my hair short because it suits me better than growing it out.
Right.
But it's also not, and I'm aware it's not the preferred look for women. And there's times I can't get past that thought some days. And that's all I'm thinking. It's like, I'll always stand out, but not for a good reason or that. And it's those little things that just stick with me. And, I'd been told before, it's like, well, you can't grow your hair out anyways. You're not pretty enough. That's for the pretty ones. So just, it doesn't matter. And, those ugly words that are lies stick with you. And here I am, grown with grandchildren. And I still think about that. And I still have days where it's just like, how much do I want to spend even getting ready? Because I'm just going to be ugly anyways. Does it matter? Just, it doesn't matter. Just go out. And then I'll see in my body language, I close in. I'm not making eye contact with the world around me. And I'm like, I refuse to do this anymore. I refuse, because nothing hurts me more than when I'm talking to somebody and I hear them talking about themselves and I'm like, but I'm looking at you and I don't see any of that. None of it. I don't see this. Who are you describing? Because that's not who I'm seeing. And let's talk about how remarkable you are, how talented you are. You have a smile that lights up the room. You have eyes that are just like amazing. And I'm seeing all these things and I'm like, pot, meet kettle, because I'm
Right.
And it convicts me, and I'm glad, because that shows me that I'm making progress. And I'm finding I have more days where I feel beautiful because I'm celebrating the freedom of just being. And more days are coming up where all the weight that I put on myself of trying to look like this or act like this or whatever it may be, I'm like, I choose not to put that on. I am putting Heidi on, and that is it. The world's getting Heidi. I'm happy. I love my life. I like the person that I am, and that's what the world's going to get. If I'm not your cup of tea, that's great. I still have those days where it's like, but I want to be everybody's cup of tea, because that means that,
Right.
everybody wants complete acceptance from everyone. And that's the worst thing to want, because it means something in your life is incredibly fake, because absolutely nobody is liked by absolutely everybody. It just doesn't work that way. And it's sad to me that people are chasing that. To be popular, I need the likes, I need the followers, No, you don't, honey. No, you don't. Keep your circle small. You can have followers and friends. This circle.
And that there's nothing wrong with having
Absolutely
followers,
not.
subscribers, all of that, right? But
Absolutely.
if that's what gives you
Value.
your self-esteem and your value and all of that,
Yes.
what are you without that? And
Right.
what happens if somebody stops following you? Then your self-esteem
That's-
goes down, or you're
Yes.
less than, and
I know.
I think that
I think that we're going to see a lot of heartbreak. This whole influencer career that people are jumping into,
Right.
and they live and die by the number of followers they have.
absolutely. And it's so sad.
It-
is so, I
it's
just want to go
tragic.
give them a hug.
I truly anticipate we are going to have a tremendous flood of mental health crisis
Yes.
because of the devastating effects of social media.
I think that we already do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to our episodes in May, because the entire month of May, we are
Yes.
devoting to all mental health.
I
Like
love
the
it.
entire thing. It's Mental
Love
Health
it.
Awareness Month, and all 5 of our
Yes.
episodes that month are going to deal with different aspects of it. And I am
I can't
very,
wait.
very much looking forward to those.
I
I think it's going to
cannot
be
wait.
amazing.
Word from our sponsor.
We are sponsored today by the Iron Workers of America, who are next door putting new iron pieces in.
You go, guys.
Is that why you want to go to the windows?
Oh,
No,
what do
they'd
they
be
look
right
like?
there, and
Are they
I-
nice to look at? or-
They have hard hats on. It's hard to tell, But I don't know. They worked with their hands, so they've got to be somewhat good.
Oh, in the summer they just wear the safety
Nice and
vest.
tan. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sunlight's
We
good.
could be persuaded.
Vitamin D. It's just for the vitamin D, though. Sunlight's important.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Okay.
bringing my face back down to normal,
Back
because
to
it's
the-
like. Do you ever get like that pain from smiling so much, like
But
right
that's
here?
the best kind
Your
of.
muscles are like, I've been
That's the
overworked
best
today.
kind of pain.
It
Except
is.
it's real hard when you're trying to do photos and you laugh that hard.
No,
'Cause
I
it's like
tell
your
people,
face
I'm
get
like, okay,
frozen.
and relax your face. Now smile, because you just get that like, I've been holding this
I know
for
your
20
smilers
minutes.
get tired
They
right
do.
here.
My smilers have been really, really tired all of February, because
I
I've
love
been
hearing
like
that.
smiling so much. And
You have a light that I'm so glad to see.
it's amazing. Well, I want to go back to that point
Yes.
about you. The more Heidi that you put on, the more beautiful you become
I feel that way.
to the world. No, and I'm
I feel
saying
that
that from
way.
an outsider's point of
Oh,
view, not
thank
from
you.
you looking in the mirror at yourself.
Thank you.
I've actually been told that by somebody else that knows you as well,
Oh.
that the more that you have allowed yourself to become yourself, the more you has shown, and you sparkle. You just radiate joy and happiness and everything.
feel
and
inside.
it's like the layers and layers and layers and layers of life and crap and dirt that
Yes.
were on top of you have just fallen away, and your spirit comes out, and your beauty is there, which has always been there. Your beauty has always been there.
It's been there.
But it was hidden. It was shadowed, you
Yeah.
know, and now just nothing but light comes out through your eyes.
That
and
makes me happy
I just love
to
that.
hear, because I've never felt this kind of happy before in my life. In all that stuff that I took off, it's like there's a pile of it here, and I might try something on for a second, but I'm finding that very quickly, I don't like how that feels anymore.
Right.
That used to be comfortable to me. Literally, it really did. And I find that kind of sad. I was far more comfortable under all that stuff
Yeah.
because we're not well practiced in showing the world exactly who we are.
Exactly.
And I credit you with starting that process when I found myself with you talking about things I've never openly talked about.
Right.
And I hadn't done it because it was one of my greatest fears. What's going to happen when people learn who I really am?
Right.
What are they going to think when they hear what I've really been through? This, that, and the next thing. What I was not prepared for was the utter freedom. When you live your life unafraid of anything someone might say or anything else, because it's already, I've owned it, been there, done that, and now you're seeing me as I really am. I have absolutely no fear anymore, and I refuse to go back. Once you get a taste of it, you don't want to go back, but
How do
you
you put
want
yourself
other
back
people to
into
find
that-
it. Oh, I don't
that
fit in there
You
anymore.
know what I mean? Like, you don't.
They
it's
don't
like
fit, and they're
repackaging
uncomfortable.
anything, you can't.
It's like wearing this. Oh, that sweater. Oh, it's so cozy and it's so warm, but it's all wool and it's scratching. After a while, you're just like, oh, that doesn't feel good
Right.
anymore, and
Right.
it feels like that. As an analogy, it doesn't feel good anymore because that was never me. That was never me. So how do we get women? And it seems so silly to say, to be brave enough to let the world see
That
them.
is what it is. It's bravery. It really is. It's finding yourself, but being brave enough
Yeah.
to show people. So whether you know who you are or you don't,
Yes.
it's the showing people that takes that bravery. And, going back to how we look, that the freedom that you see on yourself on the outside.
Yeah.
I feel like I have gone through that as well. Like, a lot of people have seen photos of me from even like 10, 15 years ago when I was like in my 20s,
Yes.
and they're like, you're somehow more beautiful now than you were then. And it's dawning on me. It's
Yes.
because I wasn't myself.
Right.
I was putting on this persona. I was dressing in a way that was very not me. And I was trying to like keep up with, something. I don't know what I was trying to keep up
Oh,
with.
I
but
tried the
was trying to
biker
keep
babe
up with
look
it.
for a while.
Mine was
tried.
very like, I was proper and dressy, and like I was trying to like be this. I had weird haircuts. Like I don't know.
Just,
Like, it was just
trying
very
to fit.
And then,
trying to
like,
fit.
I don't even know the moment. I don't think it was a moment, but it was kind of like maybe after I had my kids, and I was just
Okay.
like, yeah, okay, I'm done with that. I
Yes.
started wearing my hair in like double French braids and like pigtails and, wearing
Yes.
whatever I wanted to. Like, I don't have a style that I go by. I don't have a box that I try to fit in,
I don't have a style either. It's like, oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah. And so I look back at pictures of myself and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like,
Yes.
not that I looked bad, but I just didn't look like I do now, where I'm just kind of like, here I am,
I know.
But again, I had to get to that point where I was
Right.
brave enough to say, this is me. I'm not trying to keep up with anybody. I'm not trying to show anybody whatever it was that I was trying to show
I know.
them.
And isn't it funny though that we can't even define why we did it?
Really, you can't. I mean,
why did we do it?
like what level, like what like judgment system was I trying to go
Yes.
by?
And
I
how
don't
does
know.
that happen to us women? It's this unspoken
Subconscious,
knowledge
yeah.
that you just naturally kind of like, oh, I guess that's what we're wearing now.
Right.
Or, oh, these people that I'm plugged in, they look like this. I guess,
Mm-hmm.
well, okay, I guess that's what I do now. And
Yeah, it's I could. Okay, so that's a whole nother thing, and we're going to talk about that in our next episode.
Okay.
Is positive body image.
Yes.
You know, and being, I am okay with who I am right now. Mm-hmm. I know I could lose like
Yes.
30 pounds, and I'd probably be happier and healthier, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm okay with who I am. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, not bad. You know,
yeah,
like
I
pretty good.
Oh, in the world of being this age with a herd of kids and
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of grandkids, I think I'm doing all right.
Right.
So I noticed I made some progress the other day, though, and I realized I was no longer hiding from my husband when I was changing or getting dressed.
Good for you. That is awesome. And
For
that's the way it should
tremendous
be.
progress for
Yeah.
me. I'm like, why am I so ashamed of me?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the next episode.
That's the next episode. I'm super excited. And we are having our first guest on for our
I'm
next
excited
episode.
about
Oh,
that.
yes. It's going to be wonderful. Yeah.
I love meeting
She's
new
one of those
people
people
now.
that, like, I've only met her in person and spoken to her for about 20 minutes. And
You
it was
just
an
know sometimes.
instant
Like
connection.
I knew with you.
It was just an instant. So, yeah, I'm looking
I'm
forward to
excited.
that next time.
I'm excited. But yeah, back to this.
So
world of
how do we build
people.
up women? Like what are some things that we can do, like in a tangible sense, to build women up,
So-
to empower them,
Yes.
and not to break them down?
What I have begun doing, I know how good a compliment feels. And I have challenged myself that as often as I can, without it being this ridiculous forced thing, but it's got to be natural. I shower compliments wherever I go, and it is never about their appearance.
I have seen that in person, and I love it. And it is, you're right, it was never about appearance. And
Yes.
it's about, and if it is, it's something unique or different, not just
Absolutely.
you're beautiful.
Yes.
You know, something specific, your smile lights
Yes.
up the room, your eyes are, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Things like that.
Yes. And I have loved seeing, it's like they have that initial surprise because it's like, what?
Yeah.
I want them to know that I see you. I see you. I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care if you have a designer bag. I don't care what brand shoes you have on or your jeans or anything else. But I see you because I've reached a point in life where I care passionately about people.
Right.
And I think that just comes from when you find your joy, you start to imagine what would the world look like if everybody found their joy. And it hurts me to see women walking around just being instead of living.
I've been in that spot many times.
I know.
And I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
know my heart hurt at times. It's like, it's my Sarah, and she's lost her spark and her fire. And then all of a sudden I'm like, there was something in Sarah's eyes. I'm like, she is coming back. So this is good.
You know what it is for me? I find as soon as my gaze goes from out on others and it like slowly falls back down, and then I'm looking at myself. Well, when you're looking at yourself, you can see my boobs right now, and that's about it. Like
I can't
you
see
can't
any of
see
those
anything
here,
else
so-
though. Like if you're not, if you're looking down and that's all that you're
Right.
focused on, and you're focused fully on what's going on in your own life and all of that, that becomes your narrow focus, you know? And so for me, I always can feel it. It's like when something's not tight enough and it like slowly goes back down, and you're like, okay, you know, like the microphone might be like slowly going down, you know? But that's what Heidi, be appropriate. Excuse us while we have another moment. Okay. Anyways, but yes, so when your
We're back.
focus goes from looking outward
Yes.
to others and it goes down onto yourself, you lose that. You know, you lose so much when you do that.
so much.
And so when we want to build up other women, you can take your jealousy away if
Yes.
you're looking outward and you're looking at other women and you're saying, I love to see you so
Yes.
excited and so passionate
Yes.
about this, you know? So think about all the women, like, let's just say on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever that you know in your life.
Yes.
They might have their own small businesses. They might have their own, you know, thing that they're selling or they're doing or whatever
Or that they're just excited
that they're
about.
excited about. Help them promote it. Like,
Yes.
help them by spreading the word, you know, and all of that.
Share
Instead
it.
of going like, well, that's her over there doing that. Like, I am friends with other photographers, right?
Right.
I promote the other photographers. I'm not like,
You're a little
they're doing the
different
same
in the
thing as
world.
me. And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're in the same industry, don't hate each other for that. Don't compete for that. Because again,
agree.
going back to, I have my style of doing things. They have their style.
Right.
She
They're
has her
not
style. She
taking
has her
yours
style.
away.
Yeah, exactly. If we, you know, I always love that analogy of like when you have a candle
Yes.
and you're lighting another candle,
What happens
that
to the
does
flame?
not diminish your flame.
You didn't
it
hand
just
it
gets
over.
brighter, you
Yeah.
know? And so you can literally light like 1,000 candles with your one candle
Right. And you still have
and you're still
yours.
burning.
I think a lot of people don't stop to think of it that way.
Right.
But I have found that once I stopped my constant focus on me, because that can so easily turn towards the negative in what I'm not,
Right.
which doesn't lead to anywhere good. And then I actively made myself look outward and find something positive in everyone. I would catch myself just in full out jealousy. And then there was just all this ugliness comes out of that.
Yeah.
It's just an ugliness. And I'm like, that's not who I want to be. I created in my mind. I literally, I can remember I sat and I wrote down, what do I want to be remembered as?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you right now, my fashion, my hair, none of that made the list. Not a single thing. And it literally, there was only one thing. She was nice. So I'm like, it's time to start living that then. If that's really what I want, then why am I wasting time on this other nonsense? I don't want to sit there and it's like, oh yeah, she just really didn't like herself and she thought she was this and always complaining about that or no. And people have now, I have never had so many people come and say, there is something really different about you. And I'm like, there's a lot different
Yep.
about me. And it all feels so much better to be actively invested outside of myself.
Absolutely.
It feels so good. And to see somebody light up over
like, wait a minute. It fills you up
Yes.
at the same
To
time
the
as you're
full-
filling
to
other
the
people
top.
up?
Shocking.
It is. It is. It is. And it's, I love that you said that because
Yes.
that's what it is. You know,
is.
I've had a lot of people like with the Smiles Project that I started,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, why did you start this? And I was like, well, I have seasonal affective disorder. I can't stand
that's
winter.
horrible.
I live in Michigan.
I was gonna say, and we're in
depressed as
Michigan.
all get out in January, like
It's
literally.
rough. It's rough.
And so they're like, so you started it for you? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I started it so that I could spread joy to others in a smile. And that's
Yes.
it. And I'm like, but I didn't realize the return on myself. Like I didn't understand
We
when I first
underestimate that.
started what it was going to go into.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I'm like, okay, so out of that came the podcast. Out of that came the Learn to Love Yourself sessions.
know.
Out of that, I've
Look
gotten
what
100,
happened.
almost 170 smiles in the past month. And I'm like,
Out
and
of
it's
that
this
one decision.
movement. It's a movement, you know, and
Yes.
it's a joy. And these women are spreading it all around on social media and all these people that I'm meeting. And I'm like, it was like the little ripple. It was the little
Yes.
drip.
That
and then it's
pebble in the
rippled
pond.
and it's rippled. And then some of the women that I've met with are like, well, this is what I have to give. And I want to, and then they've started their own.
It's amazing.
Like, I want to spread this. And I'm like, yes.
It's like that pay it
that's what
forward in an
is.
amazing way.
Yeah.
This world is so starved for people to get outside of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that to me, I have decided that was the worst thing that happened with that whole mess that we just came through with that little virus
Mm-hmm.
thing. Is we were already, I think, as a society becoming more of a self
Right.
environment. And then those 2 years of like putting people alone.
Forced isolation. Yes.
It was devastating in far more ways than people realize. And there's so many hurting people coming out of here. And it's like people lost the knowledge of how to function joyfully
Yeah.
in life. And I see so many people that are living, but they're not. They're just going through the motions. You wake up, do this because that's what I do every day. Did you take the time to live?
Right.
What did you last notice that was just beautiful to you? And that's the other thing that I've made myself do is stop and notice the things that stand out to you. Don't just pass by and ignore it, because
Right.
then you never see things. And it's remarkable how many beautiful things are out there because now I'm looking for them. Most of the time it's people, and they tend to be the people that are maybe unusual or bucking the trend, or the people on the fringe. I'm like, they fascinate me.
Right.
They fascinate me, and I admire them because they don't care.
Nope. They're just living
They-
their lives.
And I find something freeing in them, and there's lessons to be learned from that. And just, yeah, more people just stop and see the beauty, especially in people. It's so much better. It's easy to find ugly. It's easy to be nasty. It's easy to be negative. All those things.
Well, it's shouted at us.
And
the
then it
news and
grows.
yeah, absolutely.
It feeds into. Of course, the news hangs on to it. Why? Because it gets the attention.
Of course. Yeah.
Let's start giving them something to promote that gets a different kind of attention. Like, can't we flood it with, there was let's have a demonstration of kindness. Let's have a riot of joy. Let's have a
Well, the teenagers call it wholesome now. Like they actually have like a category. Are you ready for
Wholesome?
this one? They have a category
I'm ready.
for
Trisha.
positive videos.
What?
Videos that make you feel good, videos that are positive. It's a new concept. I love children. Anyways, it's a new concept of wholesome, because if you think about it, like my kids are all teens, right?
Yes.
And in social media,
Yes.
most of what you see is shocking or devastating, or
Right.
somebody has
The
made a
latest dares,
mistake or
dangerous,
whatever,
whatever.
And so now these kids are craving wholesome
Yes.
material. And it literally is like a concept. It's like a category
I
of
encourage
whatever,
this
100%. And I love it. And I'm like, well, that's because that's the stuff that doesn't make you feel icky. That's the stuff that actually
Yes.
makes you go, oh,
When
there's
you
still
lay in
good in this world.
bed at
and
the end
there's
of the
something-
day,
Yes.
You feel good. Things that make you smile later. It's those things. It makes sense to me though, because what have kids always done? They've rebelled against what's the norm.
Right.
In ugliness, in fighting, in all this ugliness towards people is the norm.
Right.
Kids are known for bucking that. I'm going to do something different. I hope a lot more jump on that. I really, really, really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to
I mean, how much
start there.
negative can you have in your life before you just crack?
I
You
know.
know? And so they need that. We all need that. Everybody
We do.
needs that, But yeah, I mean, it's just finding a way of remembering that there's a world outside of
Yes.
yourself.
So you
every
have
day.
children still at home.
I do.
How do you find yourself maybe talking to your kids about that, or maybe teaching that, or is it a modeled thing? And I don't mean to put you on the spot,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's just
We talk about everything and anything with
Yes,
our kids,
which is great.
And
parents. I recommend you do that.
sometimes I'm like, wow, we just had that conversation, but
Yeah. They'll hear it from someplace. Hear it from somebody.
oh yes,
Get that information from somebody who loves you.
that is another
cares
upcoming
about you.
episode that I'm excited about. That
Yes.
being able to have open, honest, real conversations with your kids, because they're gonna
Yes.
find the information somewhere.
Right.
And don't you want them to find out from you rather
Because
than
you care
their friend.
and love them
Right.
more than anybody else on the planet.
Right. So I find that, when because my kids show me videos like all the time, right? They have their quick little like
Oh, sure.
15-second. I try to show them anything that's longer than a minute, and they like go to walk away, and I'm like, oh my
Eyes
gosh,
are
attention
glazed,
span.
and I'm like,
you know what I mean?
it's 1 minute.
But it will start this trend where like one of them will show me something wholesome, you know, and the next one will show
Yes.
me something, and then the next one, and I'm like, oh, you guys have heard this story. Like they love hearing the positive stories that I come home and tell them about, like the women that I've worked with,
Yes.
and you know, and it's. I don't expect my kids to sit down and have a very long conversation about those
Right.
things. You know what I'm
And
saying?
they don't need
and
to.
sometimes it does. But what I found is I need to be okay with the quick passing comments because
Yes.
those
Those are your
they
moments.
stick. You know, one thing that I tend to do at our house, which I didn't do last week for a different reason, but we have a whiteboard on our refrigerator.
Yes.
And I just write random things on it, like
Yes.
a positive statement or sometimes like a quick little Bible verse or something like that, because I know that they read it. They don't acknowledge
see
that
it.
they read it. Sometimes they add to it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Then
I
there's
love
like little
it.
drawings about it
love
or
it.
whatever. But it's just those little nuggets, you know what I mean, that you can put in
Absolutely.
there all the
Oh,
time.
yes.
But my kids have seen both my husband and I out in public or wherever giving compliments to people genuinely. Since they were little, they've seen this.
Yes.
And so especially my middle son, it makes his whole world shine when he can make other people smile. And so he will go through the stores and just like give compliments or whatever, and he knows what that feels like to be like filled by that, you know, and I mean,
Yes.
he's like literally bouncing afterwards, and I love that, you know. And again, it's a modeling thing. It's not
It is.
children pay attention, this is how we do this, because
Yes.
then they would be like, I'm going to do just the opposite of what you just said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But again,
Right.
it's modeling that, and it's teaching that, and
Model it
it's
and
giving
teaching.
we give our kids compliments that are not just the you're so beautiful, you're so handsome,
Or
you're
you're
so this, you're so that,
perfect,
you
you're-
know. It's very specific too, and
Yes.
do they always listen? Probably not. You know, sometimes they think that we're full of crap, but it's just the consistency is really
Yes.
what it is. You know, it's
Planting
not
seeds that you
only
water
when
and
they've
water.
done something fantastic. Mm-hmm. That's not the only time.
Don't
You know
save
what I mean?
that for then, because then I think you build children that think they need to earn it.
Absolutely. With like trying to get to my 100 faces, you know,
Right.
I have probably 10% of the people that I met with are actual friends of mine from
Yes.
prior to the project. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yes.
But these women are like, oh, I'll help you.
Oh.
And they like all in the community were like, you should be a part of this, and you should be a part of this, and you
good.
should be a part of this.
Could
Like,
you
let's build this up. You
Throw
know,
a smiles party when it's
that was so much
done.
fun. Oh my gosh, I would love that.
invite people who just want to come to the studio to hang out and
I
have
love
a
that.
smiles party.
We'll have like a
I will
release.
bake for this.
of my
I'll make
art
like
project.
desserts and kind of
That would be
stuff
so
and
much
do
fun.
do like a little gallery and
Yeah.
come see the smiles.
Invite your guests as
And our guests.
well. Well, I mean, maybe come up with something. Maybe come up with some kind of little contest or something that gets them invited.
Tell me more.
You'll have a thing.
Who are my guests?
The first people to comment and like it.
Oh,
Like, who's a guest?
we're all like, Trisha's like,
You mean my
I knew
audience?
what you meant.
Yeah, that's what
Okay, that's why I was
Yes.
like, we haven't had a guest
How
yet.
fun would that be?
Yeah. All
Here
right.
I am talking for you, telling you what to do, but all of a
No,
sudden
you're
that just
coming up with
dawned on
great
me.
ideas. See
But-
how I'm not
'cause
doing
I'm-
this by myself.
I'm
We're
talking-
doing this together.
That came like we're talking about that whole community.
Right.
You built a Smiles community.
I did. Yes.
Now imagine them coming and being together and looking at each other's photos
I
and
love that.
seeing that beautiful moment that you captured them in just that the joy of a real smile.
I had a woman that emailed me this morning that was a part of the big event on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and what I ended up taking everybody's photos from Friday and putting them all in one big
Yes.
thing, so they have to like go into that and
yes.
find their own photos and pull it out.
Yes.
She said, thank you so much. It made her whole morning for going in and seeing all of those smiles. Like the entire
Yes.
thing that she looked at was
What
smiles.
happens when you look at a smile?
You smile. Yes. So I love that. So we should have, okay, so let's come up with what we're going to do for
Yeah.
the
I'm
first.
like, this makes me feel
so
excited.
on this episode.
Can I help with this? I kind of like jumped in and said, I want
love
you
it.
to do a smile
Will
thing.
you
and
please help with it?
I would love to be part of this.
I don't know why I'm
Sarah.
getting closer to the
I
microphone.
know. Is this like an intimate? I can tell I'm getting excited when I'm all like.
We'll start talking all quietly.
Trisha,
Trisha, what do you think
think?
about this? Would you like to come to our Smiles party too?
You guys do that. It's
Trisha said,
When we
This
talk very,
does?
very close, like
you
this.
guys get close like that. It's the sound.
"Hi,
Hi.
Sarah.
Hi, Heidi.
The Smiles event's gonna be
Apparently, we are going to be putting on this amazing event.
great.
I'm very excited
I'm
about it.
thinking like mimosas and
Definitely
little-
mimosas.
snacky things to go with it.
Yep. I'm down.
Make a gallery.
So how are we going to invite our audience to be a part of this? What do they have to do to win a chance to come to this event?
Like, comment.
Like,
Wait. Like, comment, and tag a friend.
ooh, you have to like, comment, and tag a
Tag a
friend.
friend.
Apparently, when I get close to the microphone, I sound really good, so I'm going to get very, very close like this.
Like, you guys have an Instagram, right?
Yeah, we have an Instagram.
So have them go to Instagram.
All right, so go to our Instagram page, which is Raw Real Unfiltered 1. I don't know. I'll put a link to it in the comments.
I'll link in the comments.
And yeah, like it, subscribe to our channel,
I can just picture
and tag a friend.
just smiles.
I'm really good
everywhere.
at this, by the way.
You are
I can
the
remember
pro.
everything in life.
I'm jealous because I can't. No,
I have an A in sarcasm, I'll tell you that much.
I'm really good at leaving notes all over to remind me of the things I need to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Trisha, what about you?
Trisha, do you remember everything in the world? Her silence tells me yes.
Yes, she does.
Trisha, we've really appreciated all the things that you had to say today. They
Your
were invaluable.
Contribution. Contribution.
Yep. We appreciated it. We hope you're having
Yes.
fun on the airplane. Or maybe you're already in California in the sunshine. Either way.
I hope your flight goes well. I love the idea of something like that, though.
Me too.